G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present the round six review here on YouTube. Yeah, w- by far and away, my worst week of the season, and yeah, just a real punch in the guts sort of week. So it's pretty unfortunate to go down. So in rank this bad, but it's got 1,873 awful stuff, which is now a top. We've now got a top 5% rank, and our season rank is 9,393. So obviously an absolute stinker from me. And it's mildly concerning with the position I'm in. I feel just because the past 3 weeks have been, I mean, the past 2 weeks have been pretty average. And then this week has just been bad. It's just been bad. And it's gonna be interesting to see what I need to do to because I think the most concerning part so far at the minute this season, sorry, not this season, but at the minute, is I feel like, and this is my most concerning part, I feel like I'm one or two trades, probably two trades away from everyone else. And that makes it pretty hard to catch up. So that's what I am concerned about. And the fact that I feel like two trades behind and I've already used three boosts and I'll probably use a fourth this week isn't good. So there's a lot to digest this week. I copped a bit of carnage. There was some unlucky moments as well. So let's just get into the side and let's dissect what's going on here. So obviously a really poor week. I'm happy Hawthorn won, so I'm happy to sacrifice a bad week in Supercoach for my boys to win, of course. So let's get into the side because yeah, I'm not feeling too good about my side at the minute, but luckily we're only a quarter of the way through the season. There's still 75% left to go this season, and I don't think this will be news to breaking news to anyone, but I think every season you come in with a bit of hope, going, yeah, you know what? There's a mild bit of hope where you go, yeah, I can win it this year. I don't know. If I can just get myself in the right position, I can win it. I mean, that's the sort of mindset I go into every year. There's always a bit of optimism, a bit of excitement about going, I mean, you never know. What if I could get really close? This round, after this round, I think it's fair to say I can rule out winning Supercoach this year. I just think the side is just feel like it isn't in too good of a spot. Feel like I've just got a lot of premiums underperforming, couple of bad moves, that sort of thing. So, and just a couple of blokes that I'm missing, and instead I have a couple of these playing like fake premiums at the minute. So, just a frustrating situation, but obviously there's still a long way to go, and just got to make the right moves from here to get back on track because it's definitely not season over. Obviously, my aim every season is to make the top 1%, which I definitely do still think we can get there. There's still so much time left, but it's just a little bit concerning with feeling like I'm a little bit behind with trades. So let's get into the side. So Harry Sheezel, 110. I think McGuinness gave him a bit of attention. There is some concerning stuff from Clarko saying that they might move him up the ground. I think from an AFL perspective, I think it's the right move to move him out of this halfback role. I think he's better than getting 35 touches off halfback. I think he can do 20 to 25 touches and actually be a game changer for North Melbourne. But obviously, for Supercoach reasons, we want him to stay there. I think with that sort of news at the minute, if you haven't got Sheasel, I'd probably just not go with him for now and just try to bank on this new role change and him just not being as good or as damaging. Luke Ryan, 89. I haven't had any complaints with Luke Ryan so far. I think what really let me down this week actually is a lot of my pods just went bang average. So I think that's what really hurt me this week. But Luke Ryan, 89, haven't had any complaints with him all season. So I'm very happy with Luke Ryan. One bad game, we move on. Hayden Young. I brought Hayden Young in this week and not to a fault of his own. Like, I'll sort of explain it. So I don't know. I just like the look of how Hayden Young was going. He was sort of a bloke I sort of wanted all week, so I don't have any regrets bringing him in. It's just one of those unlucky situations. He had 54% time on ground, spent the last 26 minutes on the bench of that game. 54% time on ground, spent the last quarter on the bench, basically the entire last quarter, and still got me a 79. If he had a full proper game of like 80% tog, that sort of thing, he's getting me a 110 plus there. I'm sorry. He just is. So it's just one of those situations where maybe not a 110 because the scaling was just about done, but he could have definitely would have gone a ton plus. But and then it has come out that the reason he was out was due to some hamstring awareness. Now, luckily, while I'm recording this, he actually, Ryan Daniels has confirmed that he should be all good for Saturday night. So that is really positive news. My main worry that he was going to be missing the next 1 to 2 weeks, and really sort of with how poorly I'm going at the minute. The last thing I really sort of need is a premium going down and being out for a week, that sort of thing. So I'm glad Hayden Young seems to be all good. I'm not going to be doing any loopholing just because there are a couple of question marks in that back line whether they're going to play or not. Massimo D'Ambrosio, pretty stiff to get subbed out as a Hawks man. I just don't think. I guess they either wanted him to get a rest or he just wasn't getting involved enough, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't think he'll be named sub or anything. I think he'll still play, and I think for people you can hold him for one more week. But obviously, this limits what this kind of cash generation could have been even further. So probably a bloke. I mean, you can. I have no problems with anyone trading out Massimo or Zach Williams this week. If I was in a better position, I probably would have done the same. Maybe held on to Massimo, 45 break even, but yeah, I have no issues if you want to upgrade Massimo. His cash gen is very limited from here now. Zach Williams scored a 33 now. He got off at halftime due to a knock to the Achilles. We're still yet to hear any information on that, but hopefully he is all good to play because he's actually not in my trade plans because that's how far behind I feel. A lot of people are jumping off now. I'm keeping a hold of him. I think it's like a 66 break. No, it's like a 62 break even. And he'll be playing injured, so that's not a good sign. So if he does play, so I mean, with Sard and McGovern out, I still reckon he can score fine, but it's just one of those things where if you can get it in a good primo right now, you do it. Sam Closey, I didn't watch the Sydney Gold Coast game, so I can't give you a good scope on any of this, but he's 75 still perfectly fine. He needed to score a 98 or higher to break the record for most amount of money made in a single week. Just fell short, but he is going to be a fantastic rookie for us and probably one of the last rookies we worry about getting out of our sides. Or even a bloke who could hold at D7. Blake Howes didn't play, neither did Marty Hore. Hopefully, Marty Hore could even be back as early as this week, just due to Bowie and Salem both being out. They might need Marty Hore, but he could still be a week off. So we vice captain Marshall. That was a total stinker, and then we captain Butters. So that went our way this week. I mean, I think it's just crucial, really. You can't really afford to have a bad week with captaincy. You want to be at least getting a 110 plus, that sort of thing, every single week. And that's when I say to people, if they've got a 125 plus vice captain score, that sort of thing, just take it. And yeah, it's just more about banking on consistency. So yeah, I'm very happy with Butters. I watched all that game. Really good in the first quarter, butchered it a bit, so left a few points on the table there. Second quarter, he did bugger all. Third and fourth quarter, he was very solid. So I sort of expected this score from Butters. It's more of a safe captain option. Collingwood is sort of easier to score against, so I'm very happy with that. Marcus Bontempelli scored a 125, which was good to see him bounce back. The Western Bulldogs certainly did bounce back against the Saints, and he was really good. So the game was ages ago, by the way. Like, I'm recording this on the Monday, and the game was literally on Thursday, so it's actually hard to remember a game on Thursday. But yeah, Bont was really good, so good to see him bounce back after a very bad week for the Dogs previously. just a reminder to everyone, I paid 650 fucking K for a fake primo. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a fake primo, but bloody hell. Like, uh, this is not good. This is not good. And it doesn't get easier. They got Brisbane this week. Probably another bad score coming up as well for Tom Green. This is, I mean, I'm going to keep a hold of him, of course, but it is concerning. It was really good. It was even good when I brought him in the week I did against Gold Coast. Like, he was really good. Um, but after that, like, he's just been bullied by Jack Steele and Patrick Cripps in back-to-back weeks. If you want to be a young rising star in the competition, that's not really how you're proving it. You really got to go head to head to these blokes, and he's just lowered his colours in the last two games. And I paid 650 for this bloke, and I guess this is, I mean, I've said it a few times now, but it is a friendly reminder to not pay top dollar for some of these blokes sometimes, especially around this point of the year. I mean, I know it was a few weeks ago, but especially around this point of the year, we want to be targeting value and not be paying top dollar for these blokes. I feel like my cash in, I think it's at 12,391,000, something like that. Which doesn't feel, it's not bad, but it's not great. So certainly need to target more value down the line. And paying that much for Tom Green's probably affected my moves at the minute. So yeah, that is gonna go down as one of my worst trades for this season pretty comfortably. Paying up this much money, I was worried too much about ownership. He was in 50% of sides, and I just knew, well, it's going to be a bad week for me if he just goes well. But should have looked at the fixtures. I know that Gold Coast, I mean, went all right against Gold Coast, but St Kilda and Carlton are two of the tougher midfields to crack down and score against. And then Brisbane is not easy as well. So people are going to be able to get him in at 540K. So that's about 110K loss right there. So the really bad trading from me there. Paid too much attention to ownership and potential hurt factor. With ownership, then just reevaluating the whole story. If he was coming up against like uh Hawthorn, blah blah blah, then you feel a little bit easier about it. But I just didn't look into the fixtures enough, so that was disappointing. Dacos bounced back really nicely, so that was really good. I think for people who haven't got him, he's a prime trade candidate, so I would be looking at him, of course. LDU. I'm pretty sure this sums it all up with Tom Green. I'm pretty sure LDU has got a better 3-round average than Tom Green. I heard something like that. Or they've got the same of they. No, no, no. Click on him. Yeah, so LDU's out averaging Tom Green since I got him in. So that just sums it all up. Who did I put the vice captain on? Marshall. LDU, this is once again one of my worst decisions this year starting him. I don't massively regret it because I wanted him basically all preseason. Didn't have any hiccups with injuries or anything, but it's just one of those things. I think with LDU, I think the tough thing for LDU is going to be that North Melbourne is so uncompetitive every single week. It's going to be hard for him to get good scaling in points because um, they're going to get belted every week, and he can't get good scaling if they're getting belted every week. Like, I'm just stuck with this fake primo. So I'm more frustrated. I know 101's still fine, but I'm more frustrated due to the fact that he's gone up against probably the second worst midfielder in the competition in Hawthorn and still only delivered me a ton. So that is massively concerning for me. They're going up against Adelaide and their midfield's a bit all over the shop at the minute. So I don't know. I'm just holding until the bye, then pissing him off and not touch. He's not entering my side once again this season. I don't say never again, but I tell you what, I don't really want to see the side of him in my Supercoach side for a little bit. It's fair to say. But I'll tell you what, he could be good value next year, so we might even have to pick him up again. Harley Reid, just sensational. Probably stiff to not win the medal. So yeah, no, Harley Reid, he could be a forward keeper if he keeps this up. I doubt it, just due to I'm not sure if he'll be able to keep this up for a whole season, but he's been outstanding. Matty Roberts easily one of the best rookies this year, so he's been terrific. Just a lot. Um, just basically replaced Jake Lloyd's role and scoring really well. So he's probably the last rookie to worry about upgrading. He's just going to stay in the side. I mean, if cash generation ends up looking not too bad, then I might be able to keep him for the whole year as a defensive and midfield cover guy. Will Graham, 61, bad day for the Suns. So to score a 61 in Sydney are pretty tough to crack down. I'm pretty fine with that. No issues with me there. Riley Sanders, I didn't get over my trades. That's very silly of me. I mean, I told you I brought in Hayden Young, but McAuliffe, Graham, and Young came in for McKercher, Clark, and Zach Reed. I wanted to get Zach Reed out, dead rookie, that sort of thing. I kept Sanders ahead of Clark, and the more I think of it, I think, yeah, it's probably you probably just cop it on the chin with the dud rookie for the rest of the year. But I mean, I only lost out like 16, 15K on Riley Sanders, so it's not the end of the world. But yes, he is a definite trade out with 108 break even. Jack Carroll, this bloody sub will shat on me this week, literally. So yeah, once again, Jack Carroll's a trade. Lost out a bit of money on these two blokes after this week. Lost out 9.3K. To be fair, it's not the end of the world. Like 24K all up, keeping Sanders and Clark. So it's not disastrous, but it's not ideal. So they're two definite trade outs. Brought in McAuliffe. Wanted a second look at Biggie, a second look at Blake Drury, that sort of thing. So, second look at Garcia. So I just thought I'd get him in. Due to the amount of Richmond injuries, I think McAuliffe can stay in the side. Not sure if he'll end up being a bloke making a lot of money, but we'll see. Ryan Marshall. Now, I didn't tweet this out, but I was going to. So Rowan Marshall goes up against one of the easier ruck matchups this week. Now, to be fair, it's not all of his fault. Like Saints were just shocking. And he scores a 51. Like Tim English has conceded so many points to Ruckman this season. He scores a 51, his worst score in about 3 years. I think it was since like round 4, 2021 or something like that. Then you got Brody Grundy, who I traded Grundy to Marshall a couple of weeks ago. Grundy went up against one of the hardest ruck matchups and outscores him by like 107. That's just super coach for you, to an absolute T. Marshall going up against one of the easiest rucks, shits the bed. And Grundy going up against one of the harder ruck matchups, scores a 158. It's just one of those things. So very frustrating. But I do still back Marshall in to be high scoring, a better scorer than Grundy. But it's just one of those frustrating situations. Luke Jackson, again, I mean, with how bad the forward line is, I'm probably just going to keep him. But other than that North game, he's been a really bang average pick, to be honest. Like, I mean, he's just getting by, but he's just, I don't know, just hasn't really delivered other than that North game. He's been fine with like a few 90s and a 70, that sort of thing, and got, I think, a 112 or something. But yeah, just been a pretty average pick at the end of the day, but he should still be top six. And I'd like to think, I still think Darcy and Jackson will split ruckets, here and there. And then also, I think Darcy won't play every game for the rest of the year, so that can help Jackson. Heaney, yeah, I think Gold Coast are one of the tougher matchups for midfielders. So this was his worst game of the year. And if that's his absolute flaw, then we'll take that. He's easily been one of the best picks for the season. Sam Flanders, 110. Apparently butchered the ball pretty badly, but he's been a very good pick for me. Tom Powell, he's ended up being a successful pick, but a 73 against one of the worst midfield groups in the comp. 73 is a little bit disappointing, but he's the least of my issues. I'm still backing him into, I reckon, still score 90 plus in my book. Ollie Dempsey, 53. I started him, and he's been a really good rookie for me, but his time now is probably up. I do have to remember that Jeremy Sharp did score mammoth on Carlton as a winger, and Dempsey is really a winger, but yeah, it just might be one of those situations where you don't really want to risk me losing out any more money on Ollie Dempsey because he's been a fantastic rookie for me. On field, he's been very solid, so Might be time to part ways. I don't think it helped Rory Lobb being in the side for Sam Darcy, so probably a bloke I'd like to have on the bench if Lobb's still playing. But yeah, I mean Jamara's coming back, so they'll be very interested to see what they do. Aaron Cadman scored a 60, so we'll be able to keep him for one more week, then probably flick him off next week. And then Darcy Wilson scored a 69, so he's a slow burn, but he's getting there. That is the side. So yeah, a little bit of a deflated review here. Just because yeah, it's just been one of my worst weeks in quite a while. So there's a lot we need to do. I mean, even Jack still went 84 and I still had this bad of a week. So yeah, just an all around stinker for me. Won two of my leagues. Yeah, just two out of my 12 head-to-head leagues. So no good. Now, what are we going to do? I think we are going to boost again. Now, the only problem with boosting this week is with the little amount of cash I have in the bank, I'm going to have to bring in, I want to bring in Hugo Garcia from the Saints. I don't trust Ross with, you know, keep playing the kids, like that sort of thing. Like, I think one bad game and he gets dropped, that sort of thing. But I'd certainly want to get him in. He's probably the best option of the week. But the only problem is with boosting and a little cash in the bank and wanting to upgrade is I'm going to have to go a second rookie. And I'm not, to be honest, I'm not that keen on Biggie Neon or Blake Drury or my Kelty LaFowl. Like I already brought in McAuliffe, so yeah, I think I might still have to go Biggie, which I'm not too keen on, but it's a mild rage trade in my head because I'm bloody sick of this hovering around the rankle going down. So been underperforming the past few weeks, so I feel like I need to keep the pressure on and just keep upgrading the side from here. So what are my trade plans for this week? Look, nothing set in stone, but we really gotta sharpen our minds because we literally got footy on Wednesday night. So Sanders and Carroll, by the way, as well, like if I didn't have Sanders or Carroll or Dempsey, I probably would have wanted to have just made one trade, brought in Garcia and then reassess, but I need to get Sanders out. I need to get Carroll out, and I can't fall too far behind the pecking order with getting rid of some of these blokes. So probably using another boost this week. I'll be down to one and get in and keep D'Ambrosio and Williams for another week, and then probably reassess. Probably use my final boost next week for another upgrade. So just one of those things. Anyway, who do I want to come in? As I said, Hugo Garcia. I think certainly I'd like to see him in the side. Where did he go? I added, yeah, he's right there. Biggie, I'm not too sure about this. I'm not too sure. Um, I don't know. I don't think it was that good against Hawthorn. Callan Dawson is back in 1 to 2 weeks. Not super keen on this. Blake Drury, I'm not keen on. Could I spend up a bit and get my Kelty? I don't really want to. So probably going to have to go Biggie. He's definitely not a must have. Probably someone you can pass on if you want. Just remember, by the way, we've only got one downgrade option next week by the looks of it, and that's Riley Garcia from the Dogs, which is a bit concerning. So we might be starting to dry up on rookies. I'm not too sure. How did Rogers go? I didn't check this. How did Rogers from Gold Coast go? Because I know he made his debut. 28. Damn it. Could have been good. Oh, well, we'll see how he goes in the second game, and we might consider him for the Suns because Dimmer's bloody given us some rookies, so fair credit to him. So this leaves us 604K. I'm not big on getting Biggie. I I like getting Garcia in. I think these three blokes have to go. It could even be Zach Williams instead of Dempsey, to be honest. I think it'll be Zach Williams instead of Dempsey if Zach Williams isn't playing this week. Actually, no, I might be able to hold Zach Williams for another week if he isn't playing because he won't go up or down in cash. Anyway, so for these three, I've got 604K for an upgrade. This would bring me down to 24 trades. We got 40 trades this year, so I'm not too fussed. I think I need to keep the foot on the gas here. with just upgrading the side, and hopefully best 22 can reward me a little bit more with not having any bad rookies on field, I feel. So I think it's down to three options for me. So first off, there's Jack McRae. Now, I think just purely due to the Bevo factor and not being able to predict what his moves are at all, I think it's going to be a pass, but maybe a bloke I can consider getting back in. Remember, with Jack McRae, there was no Liberatore and no Riley Sanders. I think we can ignore Riley Sanders because it doesn't seem like he's best 22 at the minute. But I think Liberatore not being there probably helped McRae, so I'd probably get another. I'd like to get another look at him. And I also think Jack McRae is a little bit washed these days. So I think he will be a top six forward, just whether I want to get him in now or later. I think I'd rather wait a week and see what's going on there. So we're down to two options here for an upgrade. I'm looking at Jordan Dawson from the Crows, and I'm looking at Sam Walsh from the Blues. So let's dissect these. So I think I think I'm going to go Dawson. I'll explain why. Now, that could certainly change because I'll tell you what, 18.8% bringing in Sam Walsh does make me shit my pants a little because he's already in 13% of sides. So this is going up as far as 31% ownership. So he then becomes a bloke you want to bet against. And with the way he's playing, it's a bit hard to. His back injury does concern me. Like, he's had barely any preseason. He's had two really good games. He's certainly got good value, and we know how good Sam Walsh is when he's at his absolute best. He's one of the best young guns in the competition. So this is a tough one to do. I really like Walsh, but I think we might have to go Dawson. I think, but I could easily change my mind, by the way. Like, um it doesn't have to be Sam Walsh that comes in. It can be Jordan Dawson. Just because, I mean, let's have a look at Sam Walsh's run. I still think that holds a bit of merit when trying to get him in. So let's have a look. So Geelong's a good matchup. Collingwood's a good matchup. So his first two matchups are really good. Then you've got a run of 4 games with pretty tough midfields to score against. Now, I know he did that against the Giants, but by the way, I think the Giants midfield might be a little bit overrated when it comes to being a tough matchup because I can think of I can think of a few players that have been able to do really well against GWS. So Geelong matchup's good, Collingwood matchup's good. So I think if you brought him in, you'll get rewarded for the first 2 weeks. This will determine the pick right here. This month of fixtures right here. Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast, and Port. 4 really tough matchups for midfielders. But then after that, you get a nice run of Essendon, Geelong, Richmond. I mean, you just scored bloody 130 against the Giants. Dogs are pretty tough. North, good matchup. Port Adelaide, tough matchup. Then you got Collingwood, Hawthorn, West Coast, and the Saints. So good run home there after his bye. But I just think this month of fixtures scare me off a little. But don't get me wrong, like, he's got a 33 breaker even. It's sort of now or never. You either go him this week or you bet against him, and maybe if he is top 8, you sort of wait for him at his bye. And the other blokes, so as I said, the other bloke's Jordan Dawson. Hang on. I guess we can do it like this. So Jordan Dawson, who is 43K cheaper than Sam Walsh. My main concern with Dawson is that the past couple of weeks, not last week, but the past couple of weeks, when Crouch was in the side. So by the way, Crouch wasn't playing against Essendon. And then he was just playing a lot forward, and that does concern me. And maybe I just think in my head, I mean, I believe he's still got this 64 in his system. So he might go up a little bit, but maybe someone you could wait on and then try to grab. But he's going up against North Melbourne this week. Port Adelaide's tough, Brisbane's tough, but look at that run right after that. Collingwood, West Coast, Hawthorn, Richmond. Then it gets pretty tough again. And you got Essendon, Hawthorn, Geelong there. Then a tough run. So yeah, I remember picking up Jordan Dawson a couple of years ago at a pretty cheap price, and that really paid me off. So this is a very interesting call. It's between Dawson and Walsh for me. I'm leaning towards Dawson because I feel like my cash gen isn't too great, so I almost feel like that extra 43K could come super in handy. And look, plans for next week's trades. To be honest, it might even be just the one trade. Hope that D'Ambrosio can just not be sub or whatever. It might just be the one trade next week where I trade out Zach Williams and bring in um, Riley Garcia, and that's about it because there's literally no other downgrade options next week. Um, Other than maybe if Rogers goes all right this week for the Suns, there really isn't too much out there, boys. So I think that might have to be the play. Just maybe hold fire, make the upgrade this week. Admit to yourself, okay, we probably won't make an upgrade this week. Um, Sorry, we won't make an upgrade next week. We'll just do the one trade, get Garcia in, and then reassess and just hold the cash there for another upgrade and wait for more rookies to come. We'll get rid of Dempsey. So yeah, I think these are the moves I'm feeling. Biggie, I'm not too happy with bringing him in, but he's just there early days. Um, then we're going Garcia. Don't get me wrong, this can change. I could definitely go Sam Walsh if I just feel like maybe just go with the crowd, but I'm just not sure. Like a back's one of those injuries where, sorry, I was typing in Walsh. Back injury is one of those things where if it just flares up, you could just be out for an extended period. And Dawson, ah, yeah, that's tough. I'm going Dawson at the minute, but this could change. I could go Walsh and just cop it on the chin, that sort of thing. And I mean, Walsh is value. Both are value. So I don't think you can go wrong with either. Ideally, you don't do two down, one up. You do, if you have a bit of money in the bank, I think it's a two up, one down sort of week. So get in Garcia, and then if you've got money in the bank to make two upgrades, I think that's a good play. Let's readjust this. So keep, and it's best 22 now. So thankfully we don't have to worry about this bloody best 18, which I don't think was helping me actually. So hopefully I can get a bit of an advantage here on people with maybe some poor rookies on field. So something like that. We'll swap Wilson and Harley Reid. Chuck Harley Reid in the forward line. Bench Biggie. Bench Cadman. Darcy on field doesn't feel too great, so maybe I could adjust that. I don't like this matchup for any team, so I might just keep Darcy and bank on Lob not being named. What else could we do here? I'm not going to be doing any looping this week because there's a little bit of, what's going on with Zach Williams, and I know Hayden Young's been all clear, but that could be a laid out sort of situation. So yeah, this is how the team's looking here. I'll chuck the emergency on Howes. I mean, this team isn't set in stone, but I'll chuck the emergency on Biggie and I'll chuck the emergency on Wilson. And Garcia have got tough matchups against Port. Richmond have got Melbourne. That's not great either. So Darcy Wilson's usually pretty consistent with scoring, so we'll back him in. Yeah, this is how the side's looking. I feel a bit better about best 22 here than I do with best 18. Now for vice captain, this is a really tough week. If you get a 120, just take it because this is a really tough round. There's no ideal matchups really. Like I don't have Zach Merritt. I'd chuck the VC on Merritt. Dacos is interesting. Could they do a run with roll with someone? We know he loves the big stage, that sort of thing. I think I'm going Gorn up against Nankervis. I think Nankervis can restrict rucks, but guess we'll go with Gorn. We know that ceiling's there. And if not, if he can just get us a 120, that would be just grouse. Captain, probably back in Bont. Like Freo are struggling now. Bont could respond there. I've got a feeling Freo win that game. Butters has got bad history against St Kilda, and St Kilda are a little bit tougher. Sheasel, this new role, that could be happening with him. We probably just avoid there. I could imagine Luke Ryan going pretty well against the Dogs, actually. Dogs concede a fair few points down back, so maybe if I wanted to feel a bit naughty, I mean, Ryan dropped an 89, so that doesn't fill me with too much faith. And I was also considering bloody captaining him as well. So Heaney could get McGuinness, so no. Marshall, he's got good history against Port, but don't think I can trust him at the minute with the captaincy. Yeah, I think this is probably how we run things. Might just chuck it on Ryan for now. I've got a feeling Ryan goes pretty well this week, but I thought that last week. But I don't know. I've got a good feeling Ryan goes pretty well. So maybe going into Ryan or Bont. So just a toss up between them. This is how the side's looking. We'll have a final look at the leagues, and I think I might do another video tonight regarding upgrades, upgrade targets, that sort of thing, and uh, people with trading in, trading out, that sort of thing. So I might do another video. Yeah, so as you can tell, I'm not too pleased with what's going on with my super coach at the minute, but everyone has bad weeks. So I think for me, just the play here now is to not overreact and try to make some smart trades from here. I think over the next month we'll be looking at upgrades and looking for value. While we can, I'll still look at if I go Walsh this week, then I can look at blokes like Jordan Dawson still just a little bit more expensive, and maybe just see how his scoring is with Matt Crouch in the side. I could look at Jack McRae with Libba back this week, see how he goes and see if I'm fully sold on that. So just sort of monitoring what's going on there. And we'll see how it goes. So, look, let's have a look at the leagues. I'm going crap in leagues this year. So I'm 13th in the SDS Super League. So not a good start for me. I'm doing terrible in the majority of my leagues, except the SDS TikTok League, the Twitter League. I'm going fine. The Money League, I'm doing well in. And yeah, grim viewing with this, and fifth in the Season 2K24 League. So good to see Camera up there, the newcomers. So Stephen, great name, mate. Well done to you. I'm 2 and 3 at the minute. How am I going with points scored? Yeah, I deserve to be around this mark. Like I'm the 12th best scorer in here, and I am 13th. So I'm roughly where I should be. So not going great in that. Then with the SDS times Pro League. No, no side it has every side's lost now. Will, Nathan, and Nick, they're all mates of mine. They're all struggling big time. Nick's quite busy, so he doesn't really touch his side. So I might give him some tips down the line. Same with Nathan. Yeah, struggling in that as well. 1 and 4. I wonder how many points I've conceded. Look at that. I've conceded the most points in this league, so that probably sums it all up. And I'm 7th. So yeah, I think with some leagues I'm being a bit stiff, but the past few weeks have been pretty poor, and that's when if you be poor scoring, then you're not going to do too well in leagues. So that's pretty obvious. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll do another video, but I got a couple of things I need to do and sort out. So thought I'd get this video up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys. See you later.